Welcome everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Konnichiwa. Guten Tag. Dobar dan. Welcome. Today our video is about straight line graphs. So this is our first question. It's paper 1, November 2018. And this is our first question of 14. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. Here is the first question. Write down the coordinates of A. You can see A is there. On the grid, mark with a cross X the point 2, 3. Label this point B. And part C, on the grid, draw the line with equation X equals to -4. And so when we're doing coordinates, we've got along the corridor, up the stairs. And so here I'm going along the corridor -2 and down the stairs -1. So my coordinates are -2, -1. On the grid, mark with across the point 2, 3. So we've got along the corridor, up the stairs, along the corridor 2, up the stairs 3. Label this point B. So start from the center, along the corridor 2, up the stairs 3. Label this as B. And on the grid, draw the line with equation X equals to -4. So this means that the X coordinate is -4. So when I am thinking about this, I'm looking for any coordinate that has got X, which is -4. So I've got X-axis here, -4 is here. So anything here that is -4, everything along here is going to be X is -4. So I'm going to get my ruler and then draw a straight line. So I've got -4 there. Let's go to the next question. And before I kind of go into the next question, just a few things on straight line graphs that I need to kind of mention. We need to be able to remember our work on coordinates. So we need to remember coordinates along the corridor, up the stairs. We don't have to remember, but anything that has y equals to is going to be a horizontal line. Anything that is x equals to is going to be a vertical line. And you can see that here, we've got x equals to -4, which was a vertical line. We also need to remember about y equals mx plus c. That's very important. M is the gradient, which is steepness. C is where it crosses the y-axis or the y-intercept. And we need to remember our table of values, as well as the last thing, which is substitution. If we don't remember those things, it's just a little bit more challenging. So let's get on to the next question. So this is our second question, question 2 of 14. Press pause, and when you're ready, this question is from November 2022. It's paper 3 question. So press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. Okay, here is the next question, which is write down the coordinates of point A. You can see point A is there. On the grid, mark with a cross X the point 1, 4. Label this point B. On the grid, draw the line with equation y equals to -3. And you can see this question is very similar to the previous question. So if you've understood what we've done in the last question, this question should be quite straightforward. So write down the coordinates of point A. So A is there. So remember, along the corridor, up the stairs. So X is our along the corridor, y is our up the stairs. So we start from the center, along the corridor -1, up the stairs 2. So -1, 2. On the grid, mark with the cross x the point 1, 4. So again, along the corridor, x, and then y, up the stairs. So along the corridor 1, up the stairs 4. Along the corridor 1, up the stairs 4. And then I label this as B. And similar to the last question, on the grid, draw the line y equals to -3. So the y coordinate is -3. So I'm going to find the y-axis here, -3 is here. So along the corridor, every coordinate of y is -3. So this is -3, this is -3, this is -3. Everything along here is -3. So I'm going to draw a line here, and that is my y equals -3. Okay, so I hope you got that right. This is an analysis of straight line graphs, and you can see this topic out of the 11 sets of exam papers that I've looked 12 sets I've looked at, it appears 11 times directly. Indirectly appears in every single exam paper, and I've got examples of that in today's video. So you can see paper 1, paper 2, paper 3. So this is a topic that you need to revise for every single paper if it doesn't come up. And you can see here in 2021 it appeared twice, so it could also even appear twice. Not very often though. Okay, so here is the third question in our pack of 14 questions. This is from November 2019. This is paper 3. So press pause, and when you are ready, you can press play for the answer. Okay, for this question, question 17a, complete the table of values for y equals to 4x take away 6. I'm going to be using a combination of y equals mx plus c. So I'm going to put y equals mx plus c here. I can see here that my m is 4. My m equals to 4. And you can see that my c is equal to -6. I don't need the c. What I do need is m is 4. So what that means is for every 1 unit, m is going to go up by 4. So here I'm going from 1 to 2. So I'm going to be adding 4. So -2 plus 4 is 2. I'm going across 1 unit, adding 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. And you can see 6 plus 4 is going to be 10. So that fits my pattern. And if I go backwards, it's going to be -4. So this is going to be opposite of this. So I'm going to use a different color, -4. 2 take away 4 is -6. And then I'm going backwards again. -6 take away 4 is -10. Okay, so I've got my answers there. And just to later on we'll look at substituting values. So that's how I do this question. If I now look at part B, it says here, on the grid, draw the graph of y equals 4x take away 6 for values of x from -1 to 4. So I'm going to write these as coordinates. So I've got x and y. Okay, this is a little bit tedious, but I'm going to write it out. -1, -10, 0, -6, 1, -2, 2, 2, 3, 6, and 4, 10. And so I've got them as coordinates. Now I'm going to be plotting these. So remember, along the corridor, up the stairs. So for the first one, along the corridor, it's going to the left, 1, and down the stairs, 10. So I'm going to start from the center. Along the corridor, -1, down the stairs, -10. So I'm going to tick it off. Along the corridor 0, down the stairs 6. Along the corridor 0, down the stairs 6. Along the corridor, tick this off. Along the corridor 1, down the stairs 2. Along the corridor, down the stairs 2. And look at your units here. You can see this is going 2 squares represents 1 unit, whereas this 1 square represents 2 units. All right, tick this off. Next one is along the corridor 2, up the stairs 2. 2, 2. Along the corridor 3, up the stairs 6. 3, 6. Along corridor 4, up the stairs 10. And now I'm going to be drawing a graph. I'm going to use the whole space on the grid. Now remember to use a pencil. I'm using a pen so that you can see it clearly on the video. Got that there. Okay, so I hope you got that right. Let's go on to the next question. Now this question is from paper 2, June 2019, and you can see here that we have no information given to us, so slightly different from the last question. So press pause and have a go. When you are ready, press play for the answer. So what I can see here is on the grid below, draw the graph of y equals 2x take away 3 for values of x from -2 to 4. So I'm going to be writing out a table, drawing a table. So I've got x and my values are -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So -2 to 4, so that's what that means. So I'm going to draw a table here. I'm going to have my x values and I'm going to have my y values. So I'm just going to quickly sketch something. Now I have to use my rules of substitution here. Now it's paper 2, so I am allowed to use a calculator. So I'm going to be starting with 0. So this is y equals to 2 times x, y equals to 2x minus 3. So in algebra, 2x, when we have a letter and a number together, it means we multiply. So 2 times x, take away 3. So when I'm going to choose this one, x equals to 0, y equals to 2 times 0, take away 3. Now, as it's paper 2, it's a calculator paper, I can grab my calculator and I can put it into my calculator. 2 times 0, take away 3, gives me -3. You can see that, 2 times 0, take away 3. So that's -3. So I'm going to put -3 here. Now there's another thing here, just I could have done this a bit faster. Y equals mx plus 3. Y equals 2x, take away 3. Now remember my m equals to 2 and my c equals to -3. C equals to -3. So I could have just put that in there straight away. I didn't, because this is the first question we've come across. But this working out is important. But if you do recognize that next time for 0, it's always going to be your plus c. So you can just put your plus c. And now, like we learned from the last question, Our m is 2, so all we need to do is add 2 each time. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. Plus 2 gives us 1. Plus 2 gives us 3. And then the next one will be 5. And here I'll be taking away, so I'm going to use a different color to make sure we remember. So 3 take away 2 gives me 5. Take away 2 gives me minus 7. And then if I follow the pattern, minus 7 plus 2 is minus 5, plus 2 is minus 3, plus 2 is minus 1. Okay, so we've got that. And now the next part is just like before. We're going to turn these into coordinates. So along the corridor, x, up the stairs, y. So this is minus 2, minus 7, minus 1, minus 5, 0, minus 3, 1, minus 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, and then 4, 5. Now, the main thing I want to highlight, if you want to kind of speed up the process, is we need 3 points. So I'm going to go with the positive numbers. Along the corridor 4, up the stairs 5. Along the corridor 4, up the stairs 5. Tick that off, that's 1 point. Along the corridor 3, up the stairs 3. Along the corridor 3, up the stairs 3. And then the next one is along the corridor 2, up the stairs 1. So I just need 3 points, and then I can just draw a straight line. Okay, and I'm going to show you that the other points will fit there. Okay, so now I've got my straight line. I think you can see the straight line there, even though I've used a pencil. So here, if we test it out, this is minus 2 along the corridor, minus 2 down the stairs 7. So minus 2 down the stairs 7. So they do match. Okay, so this is just a quick way to save you time in the exam. So we will use these shortcuts as we go along. Okay, here is a little quote for you. A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. I thought I'd share this with you because it kind of tells us about being persistent and never giving up. So water, even though it's very, very soft and light, is able to cut through rock, which is really hard because of the persistence. So if you're struggling with this topic, keep going. Hopefully by the end of this pack, you'll be able to master this topic and get full marks in your GCSE exam. All right, so this is the next question. And as you can see, this is our 5th of 14. This is from paper 3, November 2017. Okay, when you are ready, press pause and have a go. When you are ready, you can press play for the answer. So we have got here, complete the table of values, y equals half x take away 1. And then we've got a table of values here. And so we've got space for working out. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals half x take away 1 for values of x from minus 2 to 3. And then right at the bottom of the page as well, we've got use your graph to find the value of x when y equals to 0.3. So we've got a lot of things that we've got to kind of carry on with. Okay, so let me start. So we've got y equals mx plus c. And I've got my equation is y equals half x minus 1. So just like before, I can see that my m is going to be half. And my c is going to be minus 1. So like before, what we learned in the last question is we can just use c for 0, it's going to be minus 1. So let me just put that in there just to show you we're going to be right. And we've also learned that for every 1 unit across, we go we go up by half. So here I'm going to go up by half. So I'm going to rewrite this as m equals 0.5, just because it's a bit easier to write down. So I'm going to add 0.5. So this is now minus 0.5. Does it fit the pattern? Plus 0.5, minus 0.5 plus 0.5 is 0, so it does fit the pattern. And then plus 0.5 gives me 0.5 here. And if I go backwards, I'm taking away half. So it's minus 0.5. This is minus 1.5. And then that does also work out. And also remember, you've got a calculator, so you can just get your calculator and just check that as well. Minus 1 plus 0.5 plus 0.5, and you can just keep going like that just to check your answer. So we've got that. We've done our first part. Well done. Now, like before, we are going to turn our table into coordinates. So we've got to do along the corridor, x and y along the corridor up the stairs. So this is minus 2, minus 2, minus 1, minus 1.5, 0, minus 1, 1, minus 0.5, 2, 0, and then 3, 0.5. And again, like last time, I'm going to do a shortcut. I'm going to do 3 points. So along the corridor 3, up the stairs 0.5, which is here. A whole 1 is there, whereas halfway through there. Along the corridor 2, up the stairs is 0. Along the corridor, up the stairs is there. Tick that off. And then I've got the last one. Along the corridor 1, down the stairs 0.5. Along the corridor, down the stairs, this is minus 1. Minus half is here. Okay, and now I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to draw my graph. Okay, and so that is my graph. Now, remember to use the whole graph, making sure minus 2 to minus 2 is there. And you can see here my graph was not perfect. This is why you need to use a pencil. And so that is now a bit more accurate. Okay, so we've got that. Now the next part here, this is saying, use your graph to find the value of x when y equals to 0.3. So I'm going to find where y equals to 0.3 is. And here I can look at my graph. This is my y-axis. 0.3 is going to be somewhere here. So there are 10 little squares here. So 0.3 is going to be 1, 2, 3 squares up. Okay, and now I'm going to be drawing my graph. So on here, I'm going to be drawing a line across that. So this is y equals 0.3. And now where they connect is where I'm going to go down and read my information. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2.6. 6 little squares. So that's 2.6. And so my answer is 2.6. Okay, so I hope you got that right. Let's go to the next question. Okay, so now this is from paper 2, so calculator paper 2020. Ignore the first part. We're looking at question 29. Press pause, and when you're ready, press play for the answer. Write down the gradient of the line with the equation y equals 2x plus 3. So we've got y equals mx plus c, our straight line, and this is 2x plus 3. And so you can see here that m equals to 2, and m is our gradient. And so the gradient is just simply 2. Okay, so I hope you got that right. Moving on swiftly. If you are new to the channel, remember to subscribe. We cover different topics, and so you will be able to master each topic. And questions for today's topic are in the description of the video and other resources. Here's the next question. This is our 7th question of our pack of 14 questions. This is from 2021 and this is paper 1. So we are no longer using a calculator for this question. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. The equation of a straight line is straight line L is y equals to 3 take away 4x. Write down the gradient of L. And part B, write down the coordinates of the point where L crosses the y-axis. So now we need to remember straight line graph. So equation of a straight line. So we have y equals to mx plus c. Now you'll spot here, this doesn't match this format. So we're going to rearrange this. So I'm going to put the x underneath x. So I'm going to have, this is minus 4. So minus 4 goes there. And the plus c would be 3. So we're not going to put 3 there. There's an invisible positive sign, so we put plus 3 here. And now you can see, much more easier to identify. Very clear here. Our m equals to minus 4. And so my gradient is minus 4. So I just forget to put the sign there, minus 4. Okay, and now the next question says, write down the coordinates where L crosses the y-axis. So here you can see my C equals to 3. So that means on my y-axis, this crosses 3. So the y part along the corridor, up the stairs, x and y are my coordinates. So up the stairs is going to be 3. And my x coordinate is always 0, so 0, 3. And you can see from the previous questions, this is what we got as well. So you can see how everything links together. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so for this question, this is our 8th question of 14. This is paper 1, so non-calculator, no calculator is allowed. This is from November 2023. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. You can see from this question, this is our hardest question so far. They don't give us any hints or anything. So I'm going to do what I did, I think we did do one actually. So I'm going to do what we did previously actually. So it's saying x from minus 2 to 2. So I'm going to write x. I'm going to write down minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. I'm going to draw a table of values. Y. So we're going to have here a table. Okay, and now I'm going to have, remember, in algebra, when we have 4x, it means multiply. So y equals, I'm just going to rewrite it, 4x take away 1. I'm going to have y equals to 4 times x take away 1. And if it helps, there's an invisible brackets there as well. So we're going to do the multiply first, then take away 1. I'm going to start with a positive number because that's always easy to do. So x equals to 0. Y equals to 4 times 0, take away 1. 4 times 0 is 0, take away 1. 0 take away 1 is minus 1. So my first number is going to be minus 1 here. And again, if we did y equals mx plus c, I would have spotted that my c is minus 1. So you can see that corresponds there, and m equals to 4. So I'm adding 4 each time. So minus 1 plus 4 is 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. And if I'm going backwards, I'm going to be taking away. So it's going to be minus 1 take away 4 is minus 5. Take away 4. minus 5 take away 4 is minus 9. So I've got my coordinates, my table of values, and now I'm going to turn these into coordinates. So along the corridor, up the stairs. So 2, 7, 1, 3, 0, minus 1, and minus 1, minus 5, minus 2, minus 9. Okay, and now I'm going to be plotting them. So along the corridor 2, up the stairs 7. That's my first point. I need 3. Along the corridor 1, up the stairs 3. Along the corridor 1, up the stairs 3. And my third point, along the corridor 0, down the stairs 1. And the reason why we do 3 is because if my straight line, if there's a mistake on my straight line, I'm not going to be going through the 3 points. Okay, and if I am going through them, then that's fine. So get my pencil, get my points, connect them. Okay, so I've got my straight line here. I've got my straight line, and the other thing that to kind of highlight is I see this all the time when I'm marking exam papers. Sometimes points are not aligned. Sometimes there might be a point on the outside. If that happens, then something has gone wrong in your working out. So go back and just double check your working out and correct your answer. All right, let's move on to the next question. So I hope that is clear for you. We're on to our 9th question of our 14 exam questions. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play for the answer. So this question is from paper 1 again. So it's a non-calculator paper and it's from 2021. And so I'm going to be using the tricks that we've learned. So y equals mx plus c, y equals to minus 2x minus 2. And we can see here that our m, I just made a mistake here, it's y equals 2x, not minus 2. Our m is going to be 2, and our c here is going to be minus 2. Okay, so when I'm drawing my table of values from minus 2 to 3, so I've got x, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and y. Speeding it up now, doing a squiggly line. So my c is minus 2, so that just goes here. My m is 2, so I'm adding 2. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0. I'm adding 2. 0 plus 2 is 2, plus 2 is 4. And if I go backwards, 4, 2, 0, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6. Now to draw my points, remember x and y along the corridor up the stairs. So these are now coordinates 3, 4, 2, 0, 2, 2, sorry. And the last one, 1, 0. I just need 3 points. And you notice I'm staying with positives rather than negatives. And now I can just plot these points along the corridor 3, up the stairs 4, tick that off. Along the corridor 2, up the stairs 2, along the corridor up the stairs. And then along the corridor 1, up the stairs 0. So start from the center along the corridor 0. Those are my 3 points. Now I can get my ruler and draw a straight line. Go through the whole paper, whole graph. There you have it. That is my straight line graph. All right, I hope you're getting that right. It might be a bit fiddly. Remember, if you're just joining the lesson, in the description of the video, you can find the link to questions and you can print them off and go through them. Right, this is the next question. This is our 10th of 14 from June 2022, paper 2, so we are allowed to use a calculator. Yay. All right, press pause and have a go. So we are looking at minus 2 to 4. So on the grid below, draw the graph of y equals 4 take away x. So this is slightly different to what we've done before. It looks different, but again, let me put it in y equals mx plus c format. I've got here y equals to minus x, and then the 4 has an invisible plus 4 there. So you could do it like that, which is what we've kind of been doing. Or the other way is just to put coordinates in there. So if I use both methods, I could actually, because this is quite, for positive numbers, it's quite straightforward. So if I say x equals to 4, all I'm doing is y equals to 4 take away 4. That gives me 0. Y equals to 0. So my coordinates become 4, 0. That's one coordinate. The next one would be x equals to 3. Y equals to 4 take away 3 is 1. So my next coordinate is 3, 1. And then my last one, x equals to 2. Y equals to 4 take away 2. Y equals to 2. So my coordinate is 2, 2. So I'll just put my coordinates here, x and y. 4, 0, 3, 1, 2, 2. And now I can plot them along the corridor 4, up the stairs 0, along the corridor 4, up the stairs 0. Now you might be thinking, you're going to go down the page. Don't worry about that. Just follow what we've been doing. We've always gone through our coordinates. So along the corridor 3, up the stairs 1. Along the corridor 3, up the stairs 1. So this one looks different to the previous one, as you can see. And the last one, along the corridor 2, up the stairs 2. And so I've got 3 points, so my straight line should be reliable. Get my ruler, get my pencil. And then draw a nice straight line. Okay, so that's how it should look. So hopefully you've got the same answer. Let's go to the next question. Another paper 1 question now. So all the paper 1s are coming together. Save them for the end. This is our 11th question of 14 from May 2018, and it's paper 1, non-calculator. Press pause and have a go. All right, let's start this one again. So this one does have a bit more working out. On the grid below, draw the graph of y equals to 1 take away 4x for the values of x from minus 3 to 3. So I'm going to write this out in my y equals mx plus c format, like I did before. And next to x is minus 4. And then y1 has an invisible plus there. So it's now minus 4x plus 1. So I've rearranged this to this. And you can see now m equals to minus 4. And our c equals to 1. And my values of x are minus 3 to 3. So now I'm going to write down x as minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And my y values I'm going to work out now. As you can see, I'm going through these questions a little bit faster. And I hope you are also doing it slightly faster. So here, our c is 1. So that's when x equals to 0. X equals to 0, I can just put 1 here. And now my m is minus 4. So I'm going to be taking away 4. 1 take away 4 is minus 3. Take away 4, minus 3 take away 4 is minus 7. Take away 4, minus 7 take away 4 is minus 11. Now I'm going the other way, which means I'm going to be doing the opposite, which is plus 4. Just be careful. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 4 is 9. Plus 4 is 13. And I'm just going to check 13. Take away 4 is 9. Take away 4 is 5. Take away 1 is Take away 4 is 1, take away 4 is minus 3. So they do match. So I've got that correct. And now I draw my coordinates. I just need 3, so I'm going to start with the positives. 3 minus 11. And remember, it's along the corridor, up the stairs, x and y. Okay, 2 minus 7. 0 minus 3, 1 minus 3. So I've got my 3 points. What do I need to do now is start from the center, along the corridor 3, up the stairs 11, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 is here. Tick that off. Along the corridor 2, down the stairs. What am I doing? I'm rushing. Don't know why I'm rushing. Along the corridor 3, down the stairs 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So I've got that correct. Along the corridor 2, down the stairs 7, 2, 2, 4, 6, 7. Take that off. And the last one, along the corridor 1, start from the center, along the corridor 1, down the stairs 3. And now I can join my line. So you may not have seen me do that actually. So let me just do 3 minus 11. So along the corridor 3, down the stairs 11. That's how I got that. Okay. And there is my graph. Okay, so I hope you got that correct as well. So 3 marks there. Hopefully you are finding this easier. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so now this question is telling us, it's looking different to what we've done before. So question 12 of 14, this is from June 2018, paper 2. So we are allowed to use a calculator. Press pause and have a go. Okay, so with this question, slightly different to what we've done before, but again, it comes back to our knowledge of a straight line graph. So the line L is shown on the grid, and this is L. Find an equation for L. So line, when we see a line, we need to be thinking y equals mx plus c. You can see that this is a straight line. So I need to find what my gradient is and what my y-intercept is, y-intercept. And that means where does it cross the y-axis? You can see here this is the y-axis, so that's going to be minus 6. The gradient is we turn it into a triangle, and we try and see if we can get 1 unit across, and then how many squares we're going to count up. So I'm going to turn this into 1 unit. And I can see here 1 square is 1 unit. And now I am going to go up to my line. Okay. So you can see this is 1 square. How many squares am I going up? 1, 2, 3, 3 squares. Okay, and so that is my m, 3. M equals 3. Technically, my m is my y over x. So it's 3 divided by 1 gives me 3. So y equals 3x, take away 6. So I hope you got that right. So I did start the lesson by saying we need to remember what y equals mx plus c is. And so this is where we get that. So this is the first time this has come across so far in our pack today. So we are now moving on to our 13th question of 14. And I've also got a bonus question for you if you were stuck on anything. So this is from paper 3, so calculator paper, June 2018. Press pause and have a go. Now, the way I would answer these questions is I would actually ignore what's at the bottom, but let me read the question first. Here are 6 straight line graphs. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 graphs, A, B, C, D, E, F. Match each equation in the table to the correct graph. Write the letter of the graph in the table. And we've got our information here. Y equals to 2, Y equals to X, X plus Y equals to 2. So I'm going to ignore this and I'm going to come to it when I get stuck. So a lot of this is about knowing what graphs look like. So here, let's start with the easy ones. Here I've got the x-axis and it's number 2. So here x equals to 2. I'm going to come back to this one because these are a bit more harder. This is quite straightforward. It's crossing the y-axis at 2. So this is y equals 2. If I look at this, I'm going to come back to this. This one is just going up diagonally, and this is my y equals x. So that means if the y and the x numbers are equal, so this is 2, x is 2, y is also 2, so y equals x. So if this is y equals x and it's going through the center, this must be y equals minus x. Okay, and that leaves 2 left. So now here I've got here when x is 2, y is 0, and when y is 2, x is 0. So this is going to be x plus y equals to 2. Okay, so let me repeat that. So my coordinates are along the corridor 2, up the stairs 0, and this is along the corridor 0, up the stairs 2, 0, 2. Now, when x is 2, y is 0. So if you add them together, 2 plus 0 is just 2. When x is 0, y is 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. That's what this means, x plus y equals to 2. And this one here is the remaining one. This is looking like y equals x, so y equals x, and it's crossing the y-axis at 2, so plus 2. Okay, so by knowing what this is, you can now go to this part. And if you didn't know some of these, you can work them out by elimination. So here, this is y equals to x, which means that must be y equals to minus x. So sometimes they help each other. And now all I need to do is look for the equations. Y equals to 2. I can see y equals to 2 is here, so that's graph D. Y equals to x, well, I've got that somewhere here. That's graph F. And then x plus y equals to 2, which is the first graph A. All right, so I hope that helps. Sometimes by knowing what this is can help, and sometimes if you don't know what this is, the graphs, the equations will help you. All right, let's go to the last question, and I've also got a bonus question for you as well. So this is question 14 of 14 from June 2023, paper 2. So this is a calculator paper. Press pause and have a go. All right, similar to the last question that we've done. This is a straight line graph. This is a quadratic. So a quadratic is usually y equals x squared. This is a different type of equation, which we'll come to. This is a straight line graph, and that's starts at the bottom, ends at the top, is a cubic graph. Okay, and these two are going to be y equals mx plus c, because they are straight line graphs. Now, the thing I would say about this is going up, and this is going down. So this is going to be a negative one. So now if I look at my equations, x squared, it's x squared here, so this is graph B. X plus 3, so that's y equals mx plus c format. So this is graph D. You can see this one here, x cubed. X cubed is this one here, which is E. 1 over x, I'm going to come back to that. Y equals to 5 take away 2x. So this is y equals to negative mx plus c. Y equal to c minus mx, as you can see. So this is graph A. And so you're left with 1 over x, which is this one here. Y equals to 1 over x. So sometimes what I was saying earlier, you can do things by elimination. All right, so that is the end of our pack. I hope you found it useful. Now, this is a bonus question. So you're going to find lots of questions where you need to know straight line graphs. So the question expects you to know it. So this is a bonus question. Press pause and have a go. This question is from June 2017, paper 2. Press pause and have a go. And when we read this question, it says, describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle B onto triangle C. So you can see here, this is a reflection. So we need to write here reflection. And we also have to write down the line of symmetry. And so we can see here, the line of symmetry is this. Okay, and so this is a straight line, and you can see every single point here, the x coordinate is equal to 0. So we can write line of symmetry x equals 0. All right, so I hope you found today's video useful. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum. Auf Wiedersehen.